Back in the Maybach, yeah, we roll with it. Payback sending hits, we getting on with it.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Kolosal Interview Series. Today on the show, we are super excited to announce we have the one and only Pick Patek coming on for an interview. Based out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, but born in Abington, Pennsylvania. He has some exceptional art, really just phenomenal. Make sure to check it out. He has his latest single, Ready Baked, and he has his latest project, Ghosts. You're sure to love them. Thank you again to Pick for this opportunity. We could not be more thankful. We're really excited to share it with you guys. Make sure to follow his Twitter. Make sure to follow his Instagram, both at Pick Patek. Make sure to follow our Twitter and our Instagram. Both Kolosal Music and Kolosal Music Group. We'll link those down below. And while you're here on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And let's get into it. Yo,
What's up?
what's up, man? Pick Patek.
What's up, man?
So much for being on the Kolosal show, man.
Of course.
We appreciate the opportunity.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. So let's just get right into it. We know your time is very valuable. We really appreciate you taking your time out of the day to come and, on our show and we give us some time to pick your brain and interview you and get a little bit to know about like what's behind your creative process, what makes you tick. We could not be more grateful. So thank you again, man. For real.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. So just right off the bat, we saw you just release a new single, Ready Baked.
Yep.
You just had a new album release earlier in 2020 in October.
Yep.
Ghosts. Yeah. So I just wanted to know, what was it kind of like releasing a tape during quarantine? I saw that you did a live show on your YouTube. That looked pretty cool. What kind of did you do to how did that affect your creative process? And just overall, what was the experience like?
So quarantine, it kind of sucked because it was harder to collab with people. And I get inspired when I see people around me are like doing stuff and inspired. So if I was just, by myself, like I'll work on music, but it probably won't be the most like creative or fun. So at least for Ghosts, like almost every single one of those beats was like very like unique to me and like was made under like a special circumstance versus like a lot of the beats I made over the summer and a lot of the songs were just kind of like not generic, but like they didn't really come from much. But so like I kind of focused on like when I was in unique positions and when I had unique things to say, like I really capitalized on that because you can't like, quarantine, it really is like same shit every single day. So you have to really look for the special parts.
Very monotonous. Yeah. And it was sick that you were able to rise above and do that for your art and everything. We really enjoyed listening to it. We've been bumping it in the car. I'm visiting DC right now. We bumped it in the car in Georgetown. They were like, this is Jake Schwartz's friend. Like, this is sick. Like,
it's crazy, man.
Yeah, man. So
the quality of your music, like I was blown away when I first heard it, man. I was like, damn, this guy's legit. He's got a big future ahead of him. We're so excited for this, man. It's crazy. Yeah.
Thank you.
And just going back to like your origin a little bit, just give us like a quick rundown. I'm sorry I didn't do this earlier, but you're from Philadelphia, correct? And just Pittsburgh.
Yes. So I'm from Abington, which is right outside Philly. And I started making music in like 5th grade, just like for fun. But I didn't really start doing it seriously until about senior year of high school. Then I currently go to the University of Pittsburgh, so I live in Pittsburgh right now. And I've just been making a lot of music here and working with a lot of people in Pittsburgh.
It's very cool. Yeah, Alex and I went to school in Lower Merion, Pennsylvania, so you're not too far away. My mother was in Abington, so.
Oh wow.
All in the fam.
Yeah.
And just another quick question right off that: Pittsburgh or Philadelphia? If you can answer that on an interview.
Oh man, I honestly, I mean, I've never technically lived in Philadelphia, so I like Pittsburgh better. But maybe if I lived in Philly, it'd be a different story.
Okay, fair answer. I'll respect it.
What's the best part of Pittsburgh?
I've
never been, so if you're gonna take me somewhere in Pittsburgh, where would you take me?
There's a lot of really cool views in Pittsburgh and a lot of really cool roads. Like they have a lot of bridges, and like the city's like very just like there's a lot of hills, like a lot of peaks, a lot of valleys, and it's just like you go up a hill and then it's just like wow, you can see the whole city, and you can do that in like 20 different spots throughout the city. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I see you got the American Eagle on and the pit hat, so you're repping hard right now.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that, but yeah, American Eagle. Shout out.
When you make your music, does your creative process and your inspiration change depending on whether you're in Pittsburgh or whether you're at home or wherever you're located?
Kind of. I usually try to like, whenever I make music, I usually try to like write from like a certain experience or feeling. So those change like where I'm located. But if I'm like, I could be in Philly or I could be in Pittsburgh writing about something that happened in Pittsburgh and it might turn out the same. The only thing that's different in Pittsburgh is I have my nice little studio set up here. Like I have my monitors and my keyboard and my drum pad and like my mic and everything. And when I go back to Philly, all I have is a keyboard and my headphones. So it's like, it's a lot easier to make music here. I'll say that.
What is your creative process like? Like, are you someone who usually likes to write first, or do you produce first, or sort of like how do those ideas come to fruition?
I produce first almost all the time. I usually just start off. I'm a piano player by training, so I usually just start off finding some cool chords and like a cool instrument, and then I kind of try to figure out the bounce of the song. Like I might start freestyling just with the chords, and then add drums after that. The drums is something I've been focused on like a lot because there's a lot of, especially like rap music out there that has like really simple melodies, really simple instruments, but like the drums just carry the song. And like, that's fine. That's the style of the music. Like I love it, but I just have to get better at drums. So I've been focusing a lot on like individual drum sounds and how they sound, and really fine tuning like the bounce, like you have to find the line between like predictability and like people getting into it. You can't shake them up too much, but if there's like a little bit of nuance to it, then that's like right where you get people.
Yeah, there's so many beats out there that just like have the same pattern, and like you want to be unique from that, you want to be different, but at the same time, like people still need to be able to bump to
that pattern. It's a great pattern, it gets people, but like you got to add your own little twist on it every time.
Right.
No, for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. What kind of if you don't mind answering, what kind of software do you use? Are you a Logic guy? Are you a Fruity Loops guy? Like, what do you use?
So I use Logic. I started off using Logic. Then I think for most of last year, and like most of last year and like most of the summer, I used Studio One, and now I'm back to Logic. I just think Logic is so clean and easy to use, and it has like all the advanced features of everything else, but like they're hidden away. So it's like the interface isn't too cluttered. I like that of Logic. Yeah,
very true.
And going back to your creative process, you said on Spotify that some of your biggest influences were Kanye and Chance the Rapper. And on the song, just let me look at it real quick. Way You Shine, the Kanye influence was just so clear, especially when he did the ha. It was crazy. I had to look, like when I was bumping that song, I had to look to see that Kanye wasn't featured. Like I was like, shit, like what the hell? But that was crazy. I really heard the Kanye.
Kanye was a huge inspiration for that song. There's a song on I forget exactly what song it is, off Jesus is King. I think it might be, I forget what song. It's one of the middle ones. It's like one of the forgettable ones, but like I think it was called Water. And it just has like this like very simple loop, but just it repeats. And like I think that's the really cool thing Kanye is good at, is like finding these like loops that like at first glance you're kind of just like, okay, this is whatever, but like this loop is like very unique and like grabs you. And like that was kind of the interesting thing about Way You Shine, because like I think that loop is like sad, but the melody kind of adds like an epicness to it, like a happiness. Like I think like the emotion of the song with just the beat could have gone in any direction. So I think like that's and then like obviously like the flow and the way I rap, that was definitely Kanye.
Yeah, turns it up halfway through that song. Kanye just came into your body and started rapping. Like I can't emphasize enough. Like I seriously had to check that he wasn't on the song. It was dope. Like that's the stuff that we're gonna be listening to. 5 years ahead, like 10 years ahead. We're gonna be remembering that. And as Sean said, you got a bright future ahead of you. And
thank you.
We're grateful.
Yeah. Speaking of like your influences of Chance and Kanye, I definitely hear both in your music. Like, especially on When in Oakland, like I could sort of feel that coloring book vibe in there as well.
Yeah, that was a lot more chancy of an album than my recent music, I think.
Yeah. And then, Ghost kind of started to go a little bit more towards like the Kanye, like the new Kanye direction.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, sort of what parts of Chance and what parts of Kanye do you think you sort of utilize or use most in your own music or in your own sort of creative process?
So let's start with Chance. So there's a couple songs where Chance, like, it's kind of like, you're at like a party or something, someone stands up to make a toast, and like there's a hush across the room, and then like, they say like some really profound things, like, and that's like what Chance is like to me. Like sometimes like the beat will get all quiet, like Ultra Light Beam, for example. It's one of the it's on Coloring Book. I forget which one. I think it's like Blessings. I think the last Blessings he does that too.
Yeah.
And then on I think it's Sun Come Down off of The Big Day, he also does that. And it's just kind of like the way that his lyrics all flow together, like the alliteration, like everything about them, you can tell he's worked on every single word of these lyrics. And the way he presents it, almost as it's more like spoken word and like a poem. I really find that something else. So like I take a lot of that. I used to really be into like the more like fun Chants, and that's like When in Oakland.
Yeah.
But these days I definitely am more inspired by Kanye and his just like his production, which I know it's a lot of it isn't him now, but like every single album since like My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, like the production has just like, you would never have expected this. Like you never would have expected Life of Pablo. You never would have expected Jesus. Like none of these albums you would have expected like this production style. And the styles themselves like are great and they definitely inspire me. But that sort of philosophy of like coming up with something new that also bumps, that also like that people can get into because it's familiar, like the drums are familiar, like the rapping's familiar, but like the instruments are all completely different. Like and I think that's what Kanye does really well, and that's what I'm trying to do as well.
Cool.
For you, like we saw your newest music video and the behind the scenes and the sort of image you're starting to create for yourself as an artist. You're establishing a fan base and all that kind of stuff. 2021, obviously within the realms of COVID, what do you think would be your goals for this year, the next 12 months or so? What's the next step for Pick Patek?
So next big step, is, so this summer I'm moving to Los Angeles. I have a job lined up and everything, so I'm very excited for that.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I think the thing that I'm going to be focused on are a couple things, but I mean, the first and foremost is like getting better at music. Just like honing my production skills, honing my rapping, still kind of figuring out my voice. I'm really trying to learn how to sing. I've been practicing singing. But I think like besides the music, I'm gonna keep putting out videos. I'm gonna keep putting out like content, stuff like that. But like my big thing is like networking, and trying to figure out like the people that I need to work with, the people that I need to meet, and how to set myself up for further success. Because in the past I focused on like numbers, like, oh, like my goal for this year is to hit this number of streams, like, I want to release this. Like, it's less so about that, like, and more so about just like laying the foundation for like what's gonna come, like, and trying to build something like sustainable.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
How has the balance of doing music and being a student been for you? That seems like it'd be a lot.
It is a lot. I end up focusing a lot more on music than I probably should. But it's just like, and then sometimes, like around like midterms and finals, like school really take precedent. It's hard, but if you really keep in mind like what you're working for, then you can do it and still have time to just relax.
Yeah.
And do you own most like parts of your production process with both music, and we saw your video grind, like just how you put it all together on YouTube, the behind the scenes, especially for the butterflies video, all that stuff. I guess my question is kind of, do you own most parts of your production on both sides of video content and your musical content?
Yeah, so the really cool thing about self-production is that like you don't have to give a cut to another producer. And that was one of the reasons, that, and also I didn't, I wasn't really getting the sound that I wanted from other producers. But like the big thing is like, if I did the song, like if I produced it, whatever, like, I'm not signed or anything to a label. So I, technically I own the song. And in terms of like the rights for like the videos and stuff like that, I'm not entirely sure, but I'm pretty sure I own that stuff too, just because like I pay videographers to do it. It's kind of like a consulting type of situation, or like a contractor.
That's my bad.
Yeah.
I worded that question wrong. I meant like, do you like do all of that yourself?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I do, for the most part. I produce all of my own songs. I have other producers I like to work with here and there. So like they'll help me out with like drums, or I have some friends that can play guitar. I have some friends who are a lot better at piano than me. And it's just kind of like, but I'm still the one like kind of organizing the whole song and like putting it all together. So there's that, and then for the videos, I also I put together like the idea for the video. Like I have people who help me, but for the most part, like the creative direction is done by me. And then for direction, my videographer and I we co-directed Butterflies.
That's cool. Yeah, Butterflies was a sick video, man. That was just so, the creativity in that was just peak. Like that was truly a piece of a video, and it's something that you can watch over and over again and still be entertained, especially the behind the scenes. I loved watching that. You bring out the Russian creams and everything. The grape scenario seemed like it was pretty funny just to, live through. Like I'm sure like in the moment it was super stressful, but looking back upon it,
We almost forgot the grapes. We did forget the grapes. Forget if that was in the behind the scenes or not, but we forgot the grapes and we had to wait for someone to go get them.
Yeah, that's what that was in it. You were like, oh, how did we forget the grapes? Like it
was brutal.
Yeah. All right, well, we're coming up on time, man. We really appreciate you coming on to the show once again. We'll round it out with one last question.
Okay.
You've been at this at least for 2-3 years. You said from 5th grade you've been making beats on the lunch table, or on the lunch seat, beats on the lunch seat. And
yeah, we used to, yeah.
We just want to know, what has been your favorite moment or part of your career so far? Lifetime.
Man, it's hard to choose, but one of the ones that really stands out to me was it was last November, and it was my first headlining show in Pittsburgh, and there were a bunch of artists on the lineup. The guy who had organized it was my friend. Like, we put this whole thing together. He did pretty much all of the work. But I sold like a lot of tickets. And I was very excited, and we went up on stage, and there were like, I think I sold about like 60 or 70 tickets, and there ended up probably being like 130 people there or something like that. And it was just like surreal, like performing in front of all those people, most of whom like knew who I was, like knew the words to my songs and stuff like that. And at the end, the sound cut out because the sound guy was kind of a dumbass. Like he kept turning down my mic. I kept yelling. It was a whole thing, and then the sound broke. Like middle of my song AWOL. So I just started singing it a cappella, and like the whole audience like knew the words and stuff like that. Like we were clapping along, and it was just like,
that's surreal.
That's awesome. That's amazing.
that makes total sense that was your favorite so far, at least one of them. That's
Yeah.
how you know that you have something going. Like if people are coming, as Drake would say, if people are coming to your shows and they know all the words to your songs, a trophy doesn't mean anything. I mean, you got it. Like that's what you make art for. If I'm not
No,
speaking,
that's exactly right.
that's beautiful. All right, man. Well, thank you so much, Pick Patek on the Kolosal Show. We really appreciate you again. You coming, taking the time to speak to us. It was really nice to get to know you a little better and the process behind your art, man. We're gonna keep listening. You got 3 solid followers for life here, man.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, guys.
Great having you,
Of
man.
course, man. Of
Good
course.
stuff, man. Great seeing
All
you.
right. Peace.
Take care.
All right, and that was Pick Patek on the Kolosal Interview Series. Make sure to check out his latest single, Ready Baked, on Spotify, as well as his socials as @Pick Patek. Also, be sure to check out our socials at Kolosal Music, and all this will be down in the description for you guys. If you enjoyed the interview, then make sure to check out our other interviews on the Kolosal Interview Series. You can find those on that playlist. They're right here on YouTube. And you can also check out our podcast on Spotify. And don't forget, guys, as always, like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you next time.
Lay back in the Maybach, yeah, we roll with it. I might hit that if she with it, I might hop in it. Lay back in the Maybach, yeah, we roll with it. Getting payback, sending hits, we getting on with it. I might hit that if she with it, I might hop in it. Like a Kit Kat, if she sweet, I'm breaking off in it. Lay back in the Maybach, yeah, we roll with it. Getting payback, sending hits, we getting on with it. I might hit that if she with it, I might hop in it. Like a Kit Kat, if she sweet, I'm breaking off in it. 'Cause I'm all in.